This is the GIS Evening Report for Monday, July 15th, 2024. I am Rikisha St. Louis. In the headlines, Guyana government and private sector donate more than $700,000 worth of aid to Carriacou and Petite Martinique's rebuilding process. We'll have details to this story and more when we return.
Welcome to the 47th meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM, hosted by your new chairman, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, July 28th to 30th, St. George, Grenada.
Welcome back. The government of Guyana has once again come to Grenada's aid, this time in a collaborative effort with the Private Sector Commission of Guyana. Together, they have donated over $700,000 worth of relief supplies and building materials. On Sunday, July 14th, Prime Minister Mitchell and other members of his cabinet, along with Executive Director of the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Pettifer Lewis, received the aid from Chair of the Guyana Private Sector Commission, Mr. Komal Singh, at the Tiro Bay Port. Mr. Singh, in speaking with the GIS, says the Private Sector Commission and the Government of Guyana will continue to monitor and work closely with Grenada to help bring the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique back to normalcy. He says despite the level of devastation, life will get better with the assistance of friendly governments and the will of the people.
We have sent one vessel last Sunday to St. Vincent, and this one is here today, bringing various amount of cargo, different type of cargo. On this vessel have lots of roofing material to help bring back some of these families, with a shelter over their head. I was in Grenada, and my, PM asked me to accompany him to receive this vessel, and I think, the honor of coming here to see and get a direct feeling on the ground what has happened to this little island of Carriacou. What we have seen on camera and what I'm seeing here now is very devastating. The entire island, is pretty much in shambles. It's mashed up. The communities, I can imagine, how desperate they are right now for immediate help to bring back shelter over their head, to bring back electricity, water, basic necessity. And we from Guyana and the government and the private sector, we are very, very encouraged seeing the amounts of effort that is being put to help return back this island to normalcy. The private sector and the government of Guyana will continue to help support. The government of Guyana, I think only this morning, sent an additional set of construction workers from the army to help in the rebuilding effort of the island. And we will continue to work closely with Grenada to see how much more we can help to bring the people back to normalcy.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell says the relief aid from Guyana shows how strong the region can be through collaboration.
Well, I think it's, it's what's keeping us buoyant and going despite the challenging times. The support from CARICOM member states has been overwhelming, has been tremendous. And we continue to benefit from this. This is probably the single largest physical donation of relief items and restoration items. It ranges from, as you can see, water tanks to dry goods, cassava, potatoes, LPG, gas, building materials, lumber, zinc sheets, generators, 19-page manifest. So it's a lot of supplies, not just for immediate relief, but also to help with some of the temporary restoration work.
The government, he says, already has a plan on how to tackle the restoration and rebuilding efforts with the assistance of the artisan squad from the Guyanese Defense Force.
The intention is to tackle some of the large government buildings to try and make sure that we can at least put them in a state where they can be used, even if it's temporarily, because there are a number of things we have to factor in. Obviously, the continued sheltering of people. If we get any adverse weather or so, we need to be able to house people still. And we need to be able to house people who are coming up for relief efforts like the soldiers and so on. So the idea here would be if we can do that sort of temporary restoration of some of the large government buildings, it will help ease the pressure on some of the existing shelters because we could have more space, and then we could begin the process of trying to actually help some of the persons whose structures might be sound or who may just need a temporary roof so that people could start going back to their homes. And then of course we have actual food items and so on to continue with feeding the population of Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Executive Director of the GCIC, Pettifer Lewis, says her presence with the delegation was on invitation of the Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, who saw the need for her to engage with Mr. Singh to create further networking opportunities for the Grenada private sector.
He has quite a number of ideas that he wanted to discuss with the private sector in terms of further collaboration with Grenada, not just about relief, and build back, but in terms of how we could work together to develop our economy much more. So I've had some initial conversations with him that we plan to look at in more details later, as well as to invite a delegation of business people to Guyana to further discuss collaboration for the benefit of both countries.
The government, through the National Disaster Management Agency, will continue to accept relief aid from friendly donor countries and private citizens as the recovery time in Carriacou and Petite Martinique will take significant time. 50 members of the Guyana Defense Force Artesian Squad are now in Carriacou and Petite Martinique to assist with the restoration and rebuilding process post-Hurricane Beryl. The squad was welcomed at the Maurice Bishop International Airport by Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell and Commissioner of Police Don Mackenzie, and again at the Harveyville Port by Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Honorable Tevin Andrew, Parliamentary Representative, Honorable Karen James, Honorable Andy Williams, and Honorable Ron Redhead. Honorable Tevin Andrews, in greeting the team, expressed gratitude on behalf of the people he served for their presence on the island, which he says undoubtedly will boost their spirits.
Carriacou and Petite Martinique is 2 islands, part of Grenada, and I am the Member of Parliament responsible for those 2 islands. And as you are seeing, some parts of it, we were hit hard by the Category 4 hurricane, which destroyed us. So there's a lot of work to do, and I'm grateful and heartened to know that you are here to assist us in the recovery and rebuilding efforts. So thank you so much.
Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, who also holds the portfolio as Minister for National Security, says not only will their presence on the island bring hope in the restoration process, but a feeling of security.
Cool, you're now in the theatre. This is where Grenada, in a sense, suffered the bulk of the damage. And I think from just looking around, you probably already have a sense of what we are facing. But I think everyone here is heartened, is happy that you're here. We look forward to your support, we look forward to your solidarity, and we have no doubt that your presence will make a significant difference and an improved one in the lives of the people of Petite Martinique and Carriacou. Some, as you would understand, are still deeply traumatized by the event. So it isn't just a question of physical rebuilding, but it's a question of lifting the spirits of the people, and your presence will go a long way in doing that. So we are grateful. Thank you for coming.
Major Clifton Sam, second in charge of the Guyana Defense Force, spoke with the GIS on the role of the squad in the process. Major Sam says an assessment of the damage were undertaken by the team of 8 persons 1 week ago.
The initial reaction was the level of devastation that was here when we saw the amount of work here, and taking into consideration that the hurricane was like about five days before we got here, and we see that that the place was not they were not up to normalcy back as yet. So that was that is what took us mostly. Yes, we are very happy to help. The people here, they have been very warm, they've been very welcoming and very grateful. This is the vessel that has arrived here today with the materials for us to conduct our work, as well as we have an additional 50 troops that has landed in Grenada this morning, who will be the main workforce to come across and do the job that has to be done.
He says at this point he cannot give a timeline for the duration of the stay of the squad based on the level of destruction and the need.
The materials that we brought over here, are mainly lumber, PVC stuff to do plumbing, because what we observed that most of the damages here on the building at Carriacou happen to be the roofing. So we have zinc sheets, wood for roofing and ceiling materials, as well as plumbing materials. That would be the bulk of the work that would be done. I cannot say exactly how long it would be, but I think it would be determined on the scope of work that has to be done.
The housing stock in Carriacou and Petite Martinique was severely damaged during the passage of Hurricane Beryl. This is the GIS Evening Report. The news will continue after the break.
Violence is never the answer. Let's talk it out. We need a safe space for our children to grow up, so let us respect each other. You see this little light of mine? I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna keep it burning for the children is looking on. So let's take advantage of the gun amnesty in full effect until July 30th. Remember, the answer is love. A message from the Ministry of National Security. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm gonna keep it burning.
The gun amnesty remains in effect until July 30th. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Welcome back. In an inspiring display of community spirit, Grenadians turned out in large numbers to support the national cleanup activity in Carriacou and Petit Martinique over the weekend. Skilled laborers and machine operators also volunteered their services, resulting in the clearing of several streets and the removal of debris from roadsides. This massive cleanup drive marks the beginning of a new chapter, the rebuilding phase. Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, Honorable Tevin Andrews, remarked that Hurricane Beryl's passage has given the government a unique opportunity to rebuild better, stronger and smarter.
While the cleanup is happening, aid will be distributed. While aid and cleanup is being done, the rebuilding process will start. And as I was saying to the Prime Minister, Drew and Skerrit not too long ago, an opportunity has presented itself for us to rebuild better, stronger, and smarter. Smarter in terms, in terms of climate resilience. Smarter, because we will continue to get more hurricanes. The hurricanes are going to become even more stronger, taking the climate crisis that we're experiencing. So certainly, we are going to rebuild better and stronger. When we finish rebuild Carriacou, it's going to be a different place, a better place for all. We want Carriacou and Petit Martinique to be the first blue or green, the first climate smart island in the region and might be the world. So we have to build back with purpose, with vision, with foresight, and taking into consideration the future.
He shared with GIS that while NADMA and other supportive organizations will lead the relief efforts, such as providing food, water, and other essentials, his government and the ministry will concentrate on rebuilding Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The minister has set an ambitious target of 2 years for the island's reconstruction.
My target is very ambitious, 2 years. I think it's possible within 2 years. But of course, the experts and so on, we have to wait for the assessment to be done, and we'll wait and see. But so far, the assessment that's been done is indicating that the damage that has been done is catastrophic. There's a team that's doing an assessment. They rank the assessment from 1 to 4. 1 being not so bad, and 4 being you can't salvage anything, you can't save anything. And the majority of buildings on Petit Martinique and Carriacou is at a 4 or 3. Really bad. So the rebuilding is going to take a lot of effort and a lot of money, a lot of manpower, a lot of technical skills will be needed. But we have gotten pledge from our regional partners and getting pledge from elsewhere to assist us with the rebuilding efforts.
Volunteers at last weekend's cleanup shared their thoughts on the activity and encouraged others to lend a helping hand.
Tell me your name. Hi, I'm Tamara. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a student at SGU.
Tell us a bit about your participation today.
So today we're here with the Red Cross. We came from Grenada this morning. And we're just here cleaning up the gutters. They wanted the main road to be completely clear so we can get some drainage. We've cleared out a lot of it so far, but there's a whole bunch more to be done. It's super rewarding, but super hard. We're really hot, we're sweating a lot, but we're very glad to be here. It's really rewarding, and we're glad we could take the time to do it.
I am Captain Martha Budd. I'm representing the Grenada Cadet Corps.
and we're here in Carriacou to offer a helping hand, as we have been doing since the onset of Hurricane Beryl.
My name's Jess, and the organisation is called All Hands and Hearts.
My name is Peyton.
Okay. Tell me a bit about the reason why you decided to come out here today.
So we work, the organisation is a disaster relief organisation, so we follow a lot of the disasters around the world. Obviously, huge destruction caused by Hurricane Beryl, so we have sent we're part of the response team to come and assist where we can. But today, we heard that there was a big group of volunteers coming out to do a bit of clearance. Thought a great way to get involved and help out wherever we can, and we hope to continue to do this over the coming weeks.
Nice. And how many of you are out today?
There are 5 of us in total, but we are actually mobilising a group of volunteers to come and join us over the next week. So we're just bringing hands out, bringing people out to support the local communities and whatever they need doing.
And where are you from?
I'm from England.
I'm from New York, United States.
Nice. So how does it feel to be here to participate in assisting the people of Carriacou to get back to some form of normalcy?
It feels really powerful. I mean, seeing all these people come out from all different places is just really powerful. The community definitely needs a lot of help, so it's nice to see so many people, and it's nice to be a part of it.
The commitment and enthusiasm displayed by the volunteers highlight the community's resilience and determination to restore their beloved islands to their former glory. As the cleanup paves the way for rebuilding, the collective efforts of Grenadians promise a brighter and stronger future for Carriacou and Petite Martinique. Representatives from several Caribbean countries are meeting in Grenada this week to review progress made during the first 2 years of implementation of the Caribbean Wetlands for Climate Change Mitigation and Conservation of the Ecosystem Services Project. The regional project is assisting countries to undertake vulnerability assessments for selected Ramsar sites, providing governments with additional know-how to avoid negative changes to their wetlands. The 4-day workshop commenced in St. George's on Monday, 15th July. Given Grenada's most recent experience with Hurricane Beryl, Jerka Timlander, with the Secretariat of the Convention of Wetlands, described the workshop as timely.
This ICI-funded Caribbean Wetlands project, which was originally developed almost 10 years ago, I believe, remains as relevant now as it was then. It addresses a critical issue of the region, it addresses a critical set of ecosystems on which we all depend. The project is relevant because it helps us reduce pressures on wetlands through integrated policy and through sectoral policy. It helps protect wetlands, including safeguarding Ramsar sites, those wetlands that are important beyond the national context and beyond the national interest. And it helps us preserve the vital services that wetlands provide and on which we all depend.
Also referencing Grenada's experience with Hurricane Beryl, Honorable Lennox Andrews, Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, said the devastation to Grenada's wetlands at Livera brings to the fore issues related to climate change. The Livera wetland is Grenada's only Ramsar site designated as a wetland of international importance. The 500-hectare site includes various habitats, woodland, dry scrub forests, mangrove wetlands, beach, brackish pond, seagrass beds, and coral reefs.
The developments with the passage of a Category 4 hurricane so early in the season has again placed the matter of climate change on the front burner of international discussions and debate. You may accept that July 2024 will go down in history as the earliest date a storm has ever reached the wind speed of a Category 5 hurricane, fueled by the ocean being as warm in June as it typically would be in September after months of summer sun. Beryl is just one example of extremes that are fueled by climate change, and so the opportunity provided by this regional workshop and training course for participants to meet and discuss plans and build capacity to resist the impacts of climate change on one of our critically important ecosystems is indeed very relevant.
The workshop will also help to confirm the project's updated implementation plan and arrangements by supporting the efforts by project countries to apply capacity, guidance, and policy advice produced through the project towards achievement of project outcomes, including identifying opportunities for engagement and collaboration. Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Honorable Andy Williams, explains that Caribbean wetlands provide habitat for thousands of species of aquatic and terrestrial plants and animals.
We had a hurricane first time being so strong so early in the season. I am certain that after seeing the devastation that it did, not only to Grenada but other islands, there are some who think that climate change is a myth. But we all can see that climate change is real. Hurricane Beryl has brought to the forefront the issue of climate change. This harmonizes with the purpose of you being here today and this week. Grenada has one designated Ramsar site, the Levera Pond. And whilst the area in general suffered some damage from the impact of Hurricane Beryl, I am confident that it will rise. I am happy that the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Forestry, and Forestry, Mine Resources, and Cooperatives agreed to host this regional workshop on project management, monitoring, and especially at this point in time.
And finally, in the news, government through the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation remains committed to continuous cleanup campaigns in Carriacou and Petite Martinique until both islands are back to some form of normalcy. Minister Andy Williams explained that the first cleanup campaign over the weekend on the sister isles was well supported, but there is still much to be done to get the islands up from the rubble. Organizations, clubs, businesses, and individuals journeyed to Carriacou on Saturday and Sunday to participate in the National Cleanup Drive, which included clearing debris, cleaning drains, cutting trees and poles to clear roadways and other critical access points.
It was really successful. We were appalled to see the amount of people that really came to Carriacou to participate in that cleanup drive. And that is the kind of support we need in this time of need, right? What we saw people came to volunteer their time, their service. People had their trucks, they came with their trucks, they came with their heavy equipment. And we also saw volunteer groups coming to Carriacou also. People from the UK, from the USA, from Canada. And it was really amazing to see. The OSPRI brought up about over 200 persons every day. And what we did is that we separated the group. One set to go to Petite Martinique, and the remainder remained in Carriacou. What we did, the aim was to really clean up the areas, the road areas, especially where the traffic and so will traverse, and we proceeded in that manner.
According to Minister Williams, the campaign will continue for as long as Carriacou needs the assistance. He commended all who assisted and encouraged them to keep the momentum going throughout the rebuilding and restoration period.
Although the campaign was successful, it is just a drop in the bucket. Because to really clean up Carriacou and Petite Martinique, it will take not just 1 or 2 months or 1 or 2 days, but it will take several months. And we are committed to the task. Right, so going forward, we will be continuing with this campaign. When it comes to Petite Martinique, we had a group again was in Petite Martinique, and that group really worked hard in really ensuring that Petite Martinique is back to a state of normalcy in terms of the cleanup. We want to thank the people of Petite Martinique for coming out. They fed the people that came from Grenada. It was a joy. Everyone was talking about it, and they was happy to be in Petite Martinique. Now, again, I want to just continue by thanking everyone who came out. The Bus Association was out. We had various groups from the UK and the USA, and so they were out. and everyone were really energetic, and everyone were really enthusiastic.
This is the GIS Evening Report for Monday, July 15th. Recapping the top story, Guyana government and private sector donate more than $700,000 worth of aid to Carriacou and PT Martinique's rebuilding process. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us.